When working with aerial lifts, it's important to know and understand your equipment, the equipment's capabilities and limitations, and of course, the safety basics. Today's program will help you understand the safety basics of aerial lifts. It's your responsibility to make sure you've been properly trained and authorized by your company before you attempt to use this or any other type of equipment. Let's begin with identifying different types of aerial lift equipment. First, there's the slab model. It's usually small, has solid tires, and should only be used on concrete slab or asphalt. When using the slab model on asphalt, make sure the surface is sound enough to carry the weight of the vehicle. Some asphalt surfaces are uneven and can sink when heavy weight is applied. The rough terrain unit is normally used outside. It's designed to be used on construction sites or on dirt surfaces and has pneumatic or air pressurized tires. The gas-driven unit must be used in a large, well-ventilated area or used outside. The combustion engine gives off carbon monoxide. Therefore, good ventilation is extremely important. Propane-driven units can be operated indoors, but they also need well-ventilated areas in which to work. Diesel-driven units are normally used at refineries in areas where no sparks are allowed. This unit must be operated in a well-ventilated area. The battery-operated unit is designed for use in areas where there is poor ventilation, but you should keep in mind that batteries can discharge hydrogen gas, which can be flammable. Keep sparks or open flames away from the unit to prevent any mishaps. Always refer to your equipment manufacturer's recommendations regarding each piece of equipment you use. The manufacturer is the most knowledgeable about the safety features and precautions needed for each piece of equipment. Before operating any unit, a pre-start inspection and workplace inspection are required, so let's take a look at some of your responsibilities in regards to these two types of inspections. Keep in mind that the inspection procedures are not only important for equipment maintenance, but for safety as well. The operator's manual should be in the work platform in a weatherproof container. First, visually inspect all operating and emergency controls and safety devices. Next, give a functional test to all operating and emergency controls and safety devices. Check for proper operation of all personal protective equipment. Always wear your safety belt or harness and lanyard when on any aerial lift. When required, wear your gloves, eye goggles, face shield, hard hat, hard-toed safety shoes, and earplugs for noise protection. Inspect and check your air, hydraulic and fuel systems for leaks or damage. Also look for loose, ill-fitting, or missing parts. Check the tires and wheels for any damage, and make sure pneumatic tires have adequate tire pressure. Make sure all placards, warnings, control markings, and safety decals are on the unit and readable. When on the aerial lift, be sure you're completely enclosed by your guardrail and make sure it's properly bolted down and secured. If your unit is equipped with outriggers, check them for proper operation. Keep in mind that outriggers are for stabilizing the aerial lift, not for leveling the lift. The lift should be positioned on a surface that's level. The work platform should be free of any debris, tools, or clutter. Now you can move on to the workplace inspection. These inspections are necessary to determine whether or not there are any possible hazards in the work area. Always be aware. The workplace inspection begins before the aerial platform is used and continues throughout its use. Never operate an aerial lift without inspecting the work area first. Some hazards can be deadly. If you're delivering an aerial platform to a work site, the workplace inspection takes place before you offload the unit. The hazards to look for include debris on the ground, overhead obstructions, and high-voltage conductors or wires. At a minimum, always stay at least 10 feet away from any electrical power lines or conductors. Check to make sure the surfaces you're working on can withstand and support all load forces imposed by the aerial platform. Check for wind and weather conditions that could become a safety hazard. Watch for pedestrians traveling or working in your path of travel. Use extreme caution to identify and eliminate any hazardous location or unsafe condition that could cause the unit to tip over or cause injury. Let's spend the next couple of minutes reviewing some safety precautions you need to keep in mind when operating the lifts. First, as an aerial lift operator, it's your responsibility to operate the lift on a surface within the limits specified by the manufacturer. Always use outriggers, stabilizers, extendable axles, or other stability-enhancing means as required. Your safety and the safety of others is one of your most important responsibilities. Never exceed the weight capacity of the unit. Instead, spread the load evenly over the work platform. Do not overload one side. This could cause the unit to tip over. Make sure there is adequate clearance from overhead obstructions. Never use any method to gain greater height than designed by the manufacturer. Always use the equipment on level ground, which is required by the manufacturer. Don't let any part of your body outside the running lines of the work platform. This means keep your hands, arms, feet, and head within the vehicle. When driving a scissor lift, stay on the work platform whenever possible. If it's necessary to operate the unit from the ground, remain to one side of the unit. Never operate a scissor lift while standing in front or behind the unit. This could result in serious injury. Keep the aerial lift in the lowered position when moving your aerial lift on the job site. Never use your aerial lift as a crane, as they were not designed to lift other equipment or materials. Always report any problems, malfunctions, or hazardous locations to your supervisor as soon as they are discovered. Of course, as professionals and as safety-conscious aerial lift operators, stunt driving or horseplay is not permitted. Don't let anyone else operate your unit unless he or she is authorized by the company. Belting off to an adjacent pole, structure, or equipment while working from an aerial lift is not permitted. Never sit or climb on the edge of the basket or guardrail, or use planks, ladders, or other devices to gain greater working height. When elevating personnel while the vehicle is stationary, the braking systems will be set. As you can see, there are a variety of safety procedures and precautions that must be taken when operating this type of equipment. These are only the basics, and more information is available in your manufacturer's operating manual. Please read the information, and if you have any questions, be sure to ask your supervisor before you operate the equipment. Remember, always follow your company's safety procedures when handling equipment. Let's end this program by discussing some basic shutdown procedures. When shutting down the aerial lift, there are certain procedures that must be followed. First, completely lower the platform. Open the emergency lowering valve. Turn the main power switch off. Remove the key from the control box and use means to protect against the use by unauthorized persons. If charging or checking batteries is necessary before, during, or after your shift, always wear eye protection and a face shield to prevent acid from getting into your eyes. Also, wear proper skin protection when handling batteries. If fueling is necessary before, during, or after a shift, the engine must be shut down and fueling must be done in a well-ventilated area free from open flames, sparks, or other hazards that may cause fire or explosion. If you're using a gasoline container to refuel, make sure the container is made of metal and the metal nozzle of the container is bonded to the fuel tank. This will reduce the potential for static electricity causing an explosion during gasoline refueling. We've discussed the safe operation of aerial lifts. It's up to you to learn and follow your company's exact policies and procedures. Aerial lifts are designed for safety and safe operations, but only if you follow the rules. Take the time for following these rules because they will not only affect you, but everyone working with you as well. Thank you.